Now today I'd like to share our journey as a digital team, our people, processes and tech that have helped us to deliver that better customer experience and drive towards data-driven journey optimization to elevate the customer experience and maximise growth opportunities. I'll also share a couple of examples, some insights and results we've had to really bring it to life. Now, my name's Anna Kalinovska, and I've been on this journey with Allianz for the last 3 years, and I've personally seen the shift in the culture of the digital team and the progress that we've made. Now, I currently lead the digital acquisition squad in a product owner role, and I constantly look at opportunities to bring in customer obsession into everything that we do. Now, in Allianz, we have an ambition to be the best online insurer in Australia, which is a bit of a big statement, I know, but it's also one that keeps us curious and inspires us to really deep dive into our customers, to really understand their needs and expectations, and to deliver an amazing customer experience. Now, Allianz has been the world's #1 insurance brand in the world for the last 5 years, so really getting that reflected in Australia is a mission us Aussies are up for. Now, before I kick into the content, I thought I'd pause for a second and ask you a question. So grab your phones out, scan the QR code, and let me know. Do you know what the top 5 pain points are for your customers? Now, this is a little exercise that our GM of Digital, Jos Janssen, did at the beginning of our journey. Let's just say the room was silent, people awkwardly stared at each other, really hoping that someone would speak up. Fast forward a couple of years, and I remember being in one of the digital team days where he asked the very same question. People from all over the room came up. And filled a wall in a conference room full of customer pain points. I love this, sort of, sure do, wish we did. There's definitely a bit of work that we can do within this space to really get to know our customers and some of those pain points. Now, just yesterday, we actually had our team day up in Sydney, and we actually spent a full day on customer obsession. So we listened to our customers, we had some customer interviews, we also listened to some calls to really put that human face to our customers. Obviously, in a digital team, we have a lot of digital insights and a lot of analytics, but making that real is really important. Which leads me to my next question. Do you know which of those pain points are the most important to your customers and why? It's really knowing the importance and the impact that those pain points and solving those pain points will be that's really important to solve. So how do we get there? Well, let's talk people first. I'm a firm believer that having the right people in your team, the right attitudes and the right skill set is the key to success. It's that drive from the team to really get to know our customers, to use any data points available, to learn more, be that voice of customer insights, customer feedback, UX research, or insights from benchmarking, or tools like Adobe Analytics or Content Square. It's this thirst to learn more, to be comfortable with the uncomfortable and with the unknown, and be really willing enough to find out, to listen and have that curiosity and passion to want to find out and to want to find out what's key for our customers. Now, we've invested heavily in people in the last 3 years, and we've grown the digital team from about 15 digital generalists, or more like specialists wearing multiple hats, to a team of over 60 with specialised skill sets, bringing in new capabilities and really expanding in specialties like CRO, UX, content and analytics. We've raised the profile of the Digital Centre of Excellence to exactly that, a centre for digital data, insights and solutions, really moving beyond that, those regulatory changes and compliance changes to really delivering specific customer outcomes. We've invested heavily in our tech stack to help us monitor, review and analyse our digital experience so that we can identify opportunities, investigate issues, and either fix or test them. Now, having that tech stack alone really isn't enough. You need to be able to have the skills and use them to gather those insights, but as well as the frameworks to action those insights. It's that transition from a data-rich culture to an insights-driven one. You need to be able to carve out that time to spend time on gathering those insights and do that deep dive analysis, really get lost in the data and really have those right processes to be able to put it into action. Which leads me to my next question. What are you going to do about these pain points? It's really that combination of these three questions that really help you unlock the potential for an amazing digital experience. It's the ability to help to prioritise, to have the right processes in place and the frameworks to work on delivering to those questions. Now, as our team has grown, the way that we deliver those outcomes has also changed. We shifted to a squad model focused on key product line journeys. Now, with constant review and optimisation, we've adjusted from product-focused squads to squads focusing on key customer intents to really identify the key pain points and frictions in those parts of the journey, be that claims, service, or purchase. Now, to really make an impact, you need to find time for ideation and innovation, taking people out from the day-to-day to really think, solve, and solve challenges for our customers. We've run some innovation sprints to really kickstart some of that activity, and we've also got that planned throughout squad activity for the rest of the year. And of course, ideation and innovation is not exclusive to those periods. It's really a mindset and activity that we encourage in all that we do. So where are we now in our journey? We know where our customers are struggling and we know what we need to do. We have our people on board, our processes in place, underpinned by a powerful tech stack, giving us the ability to identify those pain points, validate and prioritise them. Now, having these data-driven insights makes it easier to add a value to the work and helps the squads prioritise the work that we will deliver that will make the most impact in the customer's journey. All right, now I promised you some cheat codes to level up your digital customer experience. Here we go. Be relevant, be personalised, and friction deliberate. Now let me explain each of these and share some examples to bring these to life. Be relevant. This is all about connecting the dots of various customer data points and insights to create relevant digital experiences for our customers. Now, as a global insurer with origins in Germany, we know a thing or two about electric vehicles. And as the electric vehicle focus in Australia has grown, Allianz is keen to share our expertise and really connect with the EV community. So where do we start? We kick off with some research about electrical vehicle owners and intenders by our customer strategy and insights team. What it is that they're really looking for, what are the pain points that this type of vehicle is solving for them, and any concerns that they have as they head on their EV journey. We look at user behaviour and search patterns online around our electric vehicles, and with the research complete, we have a list of insights and opportunities that we can tailor our messaging, content and offers to really understand what's key for this audience. We add these insights to our digital journey maps, which help to visualise the customer's journey as they engage with us to help to satisfy their need for insuring their vehicle. Now, just a massive call out here. While this map looks linear, without a doubt, a customer's journey is far from linear. We know there are many points on this journey that customers can come in and out of, but what these maps really allow us to do is to unlock the insights along the path, rather than looking at the touch points on their own. There's really a strategic imperative to doing these, as it unlocks those goal-specific pain points, captures the needs and expectations and the jobs to be done to help us really identify opportunities to create focus in the areas needing most attention. Now, we record a snapshot of some of the key metrics along the way, some of the how might we statements that the squads can then take through into the squad activity. And we also record some of the key activities and the progress to really show the focus in the parts of the journey requiring most attention. So how does the squad work with all of this info? So we look at those pain points and those opportunities. We consider how we best showcase and present a digital experience with relevant content online that will help customers achieve their jobs to be done. Our direct distribution and technical teams connect us with experts in the electric vehicles field to create engaging content for intenders and owners that they're seeking out, and to really bring these to life for our EV customers and potential customers. Now here's where we landed. We landed on an EV hub. So it's info and resources to help people get a head start on their electric vehicle journey. Now I love that having tools like Adobe Analytics and Content Square, really launching the page is just the beginning of the optimization journey. Here is where it gets even more interesting in seeing the way customers use and engage with the content and what is really resonating in practice, and how we use those insights to continuously optimize and create a better experience. Now through Content Square's zoning analysis, here's a few things we found. That work? Yep. Here we go. The exposure rate of the page is actually quite high. So those scrolling below the fold, you can see there that it's almost sort of 70% scrolling below the fold, which is quite high. And we also saw that people reaching the bottom of the page was also at about 25%, which is also quite high and much higher than our comprehensive car insurance page. Now, I also love the attractiveness rate measure. We talked about that earlier. And this one really shows us that the most attractive part on the page, or the thing that people most engaged with, was to actually go and see our comprehensive car page, which is great because obviously we want to make sure that these guys are able to insure their vehicle as well. This also gave us some ideas in terms of how we optimize. Now, I love how easy and visual Content Square makes it to really understand our digital experience. And here I am with the next generation of digital experts, showing them how easy it is for mummy to see exactly what people are doing and clicking on website pages. So totally blowing their little minds. Now, we determined that the most engaged with FAQ was actually to find out if car insurance covered electrical fires for EVs. But it was actually the last FAQ on the page. Our thermal runaway article was also quite interesting. As you can see there, it sat lower down the page, and so the exposure rate for that was around 36%, versus some of the articles that were sitting up higher on the page getting almost that 70% exposure rate. Now, having a look at the click rate of these articles, you can see that the click rate for the thermal runaway article is nowhere near where it is on the others. And so again, seeing these in Adobe Analytics alone, we would be able to tell that that article was not necessarily as engaging. But when you look at that attractiveness rate measure, which really takes into account of those people that saw it, how many engaged with it, they're actually on par, which again gives us opportunities to optimize. So what do we do about all these insights? So we redesigned the page with more focus on helping customers get to the quote funnel. So we've introduced secondary navigation that helped people to navigate through this quite long page. We introduced new content to try and tackle some of the pain points from customers. And we also rearranged content that we knew was relevant for the audience. We also had a look at the FAQs, rearranged them in a way that really helped to put the key ones at the beginning for our customers, and also added in some new ones. Now, we only recently published this page, but we can see some positive results so far. We can see from the journey analysis that we've improved the rate of people going through to the quote for a car insurance policy from under 10% to 12.3%. And those visiting the car insurance page has gone up from 20% to 32.5%. Now, we've also been able to maintain the #1 spot for EV insurance in Google since launch, which is also a nice win. Okay, now our second cheat code is all about being personalised. We've heard a lot about personalisation today, so I'm glad we're all aligned, which is amazing. Now, with customer obsession so key to everything that we do, we want to make sure that our journey is as personalised to our customers as it can be. Now, we ran an A/B test in the motor funnel to personalise the quote page with specific electric vehicle benefits when a customer is quoting for a Tesla. We hypothesised that by showing these specific benefits suited to their electric vehicle type, we would reinforce that the cover is perfect for their EV and would increase their likelihood to purchase. Now, we saw a 14% impact in conversion rates, which is a great result, and we're in the process of rolling this out to broader makes and models. Now, we want to find out other ways that we can personalise the journey for our EV or electric vehicle customers. And knowing that someone has come from an electric vehicle marketing campaign, we raised the content around electric vehicles for this audience coming in from those campaigns. So you can see that we've shifted it up higher up the page so that those coming in from those campaigns would see that content. Now, there's a little bit of a poll there again. Grab your phones out and let me know what you think. Do you think we got a positive result, negative or inconclusive in terms of trying to drive more quotes for electric vehicles? What have we got here? Positive, inconclusive, negative. Cool. Love it, love it. Now, I love that positive comes up the top here because we thought that too, but we actually got an inconclusive result, which again got us curious and it got us thinking, like, what's going on here? Now, with Adobe Target alone, we couldn't really get into any further insights. However, with the integration of Content Square and Adobe Target, we were able to really understand the why we were getting that inconclusive result and why there was little difference between the control and the experiment. Now, what we identified is that the exposure rate of that component that we were testing was actually very similar between the control and the experiment, which actually means that the work that we did wasn't as powerful as it needed to be to really shift that dial. So which, of course, gives us further insights into how we can test out that hypothesis and really gives us the ability to keep testing. And lucky last cheat code for today is all about frictions. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot about being frictionless in our journeys, and I'd like to challenge that and throw out the idea of being friction deliberate. Now, any effort from a customer in some way, shape or form is a friction. And yes, sure, some of them are more intense than others, and without a doubt, we want to make sure that we reduce the efforts and the frictions for our customers. But being friction deliberate is about prompting a customer to stop and pause and consider, challenging their brain from shortcutting and satisficing behaviour to really stop and pause because something is important for them to take in, and it also might help them in their decision-making process. I'd like to share 3 examples of how we've identified frictions in the customer journey and followed our analytics insights to action framework to deliver a customer outcome. Now, we work in a highly regulated industry where consent is a friction that we can't really get away from. Here's an example at the top of our motor funnel where we need to provide customers information about their duty not to take reasonable care not to make a misrepresentation, which in itself is a massive mouthful. Now, this A/B test really focused on sharing that information in a clearer manner, headline layout, call to action changes, and some button changes. Now, the optimization resulted in a marginal improvement in the conversion, but being at that very top of the funnel, it actually impacted millions of dollars worth of revenue by reducing the dropout rate at that very first top step of the funnel. Now, our next example here is around our claims journey. Now, as you know, the claims journey is a pivotal journey for insurance and a key moment of truth for customers. Now, reviewing the fallout reports of this journey, we saw a drop off at the upload content step. And it got us curious. What's going on here? Why are people dropping off? Now with Content Square, we were able to quickly drill into the recordings of this step and find this exact friction, rather than having to sift through hours of recordings. We hypothesized that while having the upload content step optional, customers are hanging on this step and the application would actually time out, getting them to go back to a previous step. So we set up some prototypes and we tested them with customers to make sure that the solution that we put forward would have the best chance of seeing an improvement. And the results were actually a 27% decrease in dropout rates for this step, which is huge, and obviously helps our claims team to make sure that we can finalise a lot of those claims online. And last one is one of my favourite examples, which is the date of birth picker. Through Content Square's AI module, we saw some rage clicks on this part of the form, where people would have to click multiple times to navigate through the years and months and dates to find their actual birth date. I don't know if you've seen that before, but it is very frustrating. Now, this module allowed us to really get to the insights faster, learn quickly, and act quickly. Again, what we could do is we could really look at the recordings of that friction and work through a solution with our content and UX teams. The solution here was just to remove that date picker and use existing fields to give customers the opportunity to write in their details with some simple explanation text. Now, this only just went live, so results at the moment are looking positive, but we'll stay tuned. Now, here's just a few examples of the frictions that we find and fix throughout the year, just to give you a flavour of some of the ones that we see and deal with. Now, we know there's a lot more that we can do, and we can get a lot more out of the platform. And even seeing some of the stuff this morning has already got my brain thinking about some of the other things that we can do. Now, it's really that ability to carve out time to deep dive and get lost in the data, to be able to pull those insights and opportunities to improve that customer experience. Now, before I go, and in honour of this great gaming theme that Content Square have put together, thought I'd have a bit of a crack at a summary in gaming lingo, and this is courtesy of my partner Mitch, who is a real gamer. So I'm keen to know what you think. Now, coordinate your squadrons to have the right team players to level up their skills. Have the supporting tech in place to maximise FPS. Have the right processes in place so you don't have your users idling AFK, nor flood them with RNG drops. Send users on side quests, provide them with personalised character skins, and prompt them with the right in-game dialogue to present them with relevant microtransactions to get the right DLC. And lucky last, unlock bonus rounds by spending time on identifying pain points, innovation and ideation so you don't lag behind. And for those that none of that made any sense, don't worry, I hear you. Here's a quick summary of a few things that you can take away, hopefully, into your day-to-day. The path to customer obsession requires the trio of people, processes, and tech to be able to work together to have the ability to find and act on those insights to create a better customer experience. Ensure you dig into the key pain points for your customers, which are the most important and why, and have a plan towards solving these. Be relevant, personalised, and friction deliberate to create an amazing digital customer experience. Now, thank you for your attention. I know I stand between you and lunch, which is a really tough gig being in this spot, but feel free to come and grab me and ask anything of what you've heard today, or my beautiful friend here, Wolfgang.